You feel more as just one of the community, just one voice among, with no more impact than anyone else. You can ask Margaret what's going on, what's happening, and in that way you learn as much about yourself as you do about the children, because you find that your own perhaps moralistic or punitive attitudes are coming through, even though you mightn't be aware of it at the time, and then you work on where these are coming from and what you're going to do about it.
When a teacher comes in and she thinks, oh, you know, not this class again and everything, all the students, they can pick up really easily what sort of mood the teacher's in. They think we're that stupid, but we're not. And we can pick up, you know, when they're like this, we think, oh, look, this should be a good bludge. The teacher isn't really very interested in us, so we'll just muck around. And normally the teacher just goes, oh, you know, and lets it go because they're not in a good mood or they can't be bothered with us. And we pick it up.
You mean that the moods of teachers and students interact with each other all the time? Quite right, they do. Now, it could be true that the teacher goes into the class and doesn't want to learn either. The teacher doesn't want to learn her subject, which is the children, right? Or his subject, right? Because I hold that the teacher goes in there to learn about the children that are in the class as well as teach them something.
Now, I think talking about things is one of the excellent things about Marbury. You just get right down to the bottom of the problem. You don't let it sit in the person's head and just get more and more upset about what they're doing or more and more disturbed by it. You just get it out and makes the person much more happier. They can do schoolwork easier and get along with other kids easier once they've got it out of them.
What's the difference there that comes into it, do you think?
You never really want to get nothing out of a class. Sometimes, like, if the teacher's sort of unreasonable or something, and like you start and you want to learn, of course, but sometimes if they're unreasonable, they say something to you. You sort of think, you sort of think, I don't want to learn really much this, so I won't. Sort of.
Yeah.
We had a social studies class, and that was just terrible. The last few social studies classes have just
what happened in it?
No one listened to
who?
No one's interested in what
cooperation.
Just
it was lack of cooperation, really. They didn't really want to do the lesson. There was just little conversations going on and amongst themselves.
Are those interruptions necessary?
No.
No. Well, why do we have them?
When they're discussing their social life or something else, something other than the lesson with each other.
What do the students think are the problems there? Yeah.
Just getting back to the social kind of thing, I think it's really boy-girl kind of thing in our class. We're all worried, like the boys are trying to... No, the boys are trying to impress the girls and the girls are trying to impress the boys and they're sending notes to each other and things like that.
Well, you know, I suppose I see education a bit differently to most teachers, but I think that's part of your education too, you know. And so that a certain amount of that has to go on in your school life. I'm always interested in your own social development. I think that you're talking and relating to each other is terribly important. I wouldn't want to wipe that out at all. But at the same time, as a teacher, I think when I used to teach subjects in the school, I'd say I'd have a few jokes and have a bit of talk, and the kids could talk and talk back to me. And I'd say, now I want quiet because I want to teach you. What I was interested in is making them feel happy with me, because if they're happy with me, then they're going to be much happier about the subject. But they've got to like me first. So I was always intent on them getting to like me. Now, what do you as students feel about that?
I think you can tell when teachers enjoy teaching you enjoy learning.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, sure. Because this is where I think the thing gets problematic, really. I mean, I don't want to say the problem's all the teachers. It's certainly not. But the problem is the teachers and the students. The teachers are the adults who are here to guide and direct you in your education. You're not here to guide and direct them, right? So that's why I want us to see it in terms of perhaps the first responsibility is the teachers. This is the way the community works, and it works very well this way because there isn't two separate groups. There's one community and the rules apply to everybody.
Right, we've got a slalom course here. The first thing we're going to do...
Draw some arrows.
Draw the arrows? What a good idea. Let's have the chalk. We're going to draw arrows. That's much better, isn't it? We had arrows before.
I think in other schools it's much more of a contrived and an embarrassed relationship between teachers and students. Whereas here, the relationship is very straightforward. It's the same relationship that I have with my friends out of the school. There's no difference. You don't have any feeling of embarrassment, you don't have any feeling as if you should be treating the kids we teach in any other way that you would treat any other person who is a friend or an acquaintance.
It's just got a really friendly feeling, and it's like one big family sort of.
Friendly feeling.
It's not really like, right, we're going on a camp, we're going to go on a hike today and plan out the day. I mean, whatever happens, happens, and you have so much fun.
At the beginning of the year, when Mag comes in and says hello and greets you all and says how was your holidays and everything, everyone sort of goes, well, you know, where are we going this year?
Yeah. I mean, Mag doesn't just come in and say, right, we're going here, and it doesn't matter what the kids think. She comes in and she gives us like maybe options. 4 or 5 options, and we can pick.
On the canoe camp, we had to split up into groups, and we got certain foods that we got given, and we had to make something with it. Whenever we made, everyone else ate.
I mean, the food was pretty bad, but everyone sort of went, oh, this is a great meal. Well done. Congratulations.
What do you think you learn out of a camp like that?
How to cook.
Working together as a group. And
yeah, that's what it was.
But for now I'm paddling on. But for now I'm paddling on. Ayo, 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 ayo. Stand up, 1, 2, stand up, 3, 4. Stand up, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think that a lot of people have the wrong impression about the whole education system here at Marbury. They think perhaps that the place is full of long-haired dropouts from Teachers College who sit around on the grass teaching kids how to make macrame pot hangers. I think what people need to understand is that Marbury is full of dedicated teachers who are extremely well qualified to educate children to not only become good academics but also to become people who can relate more effectively with other human beings.
There's also the opportunity for more informal and relaxed teaching methods as well.
Yeah,
especially matric level.
I can't remember.
You swap back from matrics at Marbury, the whole school just revolves around the matrics in that period when it's important that they get as much information and much access to teachers as they can.
Teachers and students work closer together, I think.
Because it's got sand in it.
Those last 2 weeks where everyone's together, like we were in the boarding house and having meals together, teachers around, students together, and we just got so much work done.
Yeah,
it was great.
We didn't want it to end.
Well, I spent my whole school life at Marbury except 1 year which I spent overseas. I think you find that Marbury kids, I don't know, they seem to find it a lot easier to adapt in the real world. I've sort of only experienced it at university, but as Mick said before, mixing with tutors and lecturers, which is very important, I think, at university, the other people to find it very hard to have some sort of relationship, even if it's academic, with the tutor, that they, you know, rather than see the tutor about a problem they've got, they just cover it up, which is probably what they're used to doing at their own school.
In a way, it's not like the real world.
It's different.
Because this is the way I see things, how it should be. It should be like this. I mean, most of the real world's not like that. There's a lot of competition, there's a lot of aggression particularly. I mean, and you find those things lacking here. I mean, so in a sense, it's not like the real world, but I think at the same time it prepares you to accept the real world for what it is, but go beyond that and reach a kind of another level.
Marbury is more than just an educational institution. It's a place where people are taught how to be functioning human beings. It's a way of life. Marbury's a way of life. It's not just a school.
If the children are badly behaved and you're friendly about it, that's going to do a hell of a lot.
I don't think so. See, that's what a lot of teachers think, but I don't. I think the more loving and friendly you are to them, the better they'll be.
I guess so.
I think a lot of teachers have been brought up to feel the way that what Janine said is right, and it's hard to learn that here, that you're going to get people to behave if you are friendly. Not if you're strict.
I know that, but it doesn't mean you have to encourage it either.
When you've got a kid that's playing up and a bit rebellious and whatnot, it might be important for the teacher to see that this child needs a bit more expression of those things, right? So I used to have a boy that used to scribble all sorts of wheeze and bums and words like that all over his books, you know, in the school, and the teachers didn't like it. And I said to this boy, there were two of them in fact, I said, look, come up to my office one day and here's a pad. You can do it as much as you like, right? You can sit there all day and put wheeze and bums and fucks or whatever it was that you're going to put down, right? Okay? And they did it for a while, and then the fun went out of it, and so they went back to their class. But the point is, it's sometimes it's not forbidding that does this. It's not forbidding's the most important thing. What all this is about to me is to get you to see us all as a bundle of human beings that have got together at Marbury, and we've got to support and look to see what the problems are, whether they be in the students or whether they be in the teachers, and to help with it, right?